What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben, and welcome back to Ben Builds. This is episode number 7 on our Armstrong Whitley Mk.5. Today, guys, I am super excited to push forward a bit more on the Whitley, see what we can get done. We first have to start off with a few things I forgot, such as these little tiny windows on the front nose. These have to be masked. I totally spaced, and I just forgot to mask them when I was masking up the fuselage, so those have to be done. Also, we have some seams we got to take care of with Mr. Surfacer. So let's go ahead and turn our attention to those first. Now I'm going to be using 1200 grit Mr. Surfacer. This is a little bit on the dry side, to be honest, but I think it should work all right. We're going to spread it around the different areas, and we're going to help to lessen the prominence of some of these seams. We're not going to remove them completely. We're just going to lessen the impact that they have on the model, and then we should be ready to go ahead and sand and get ready for paint. We're also going to use our nail polish remover to wipe off the excess and to help kind of liquefy the stuff that's inside the cracks, helping to kind of spread it around. Now, this isn't a perfect technique for sure. We will need some sanding after we go ahead and get all this stuff spread out, but I think for the most part, it's a decent technique to use. So we're going to go ahead and take care of this on all the little seams. We'll be right back. Let's go ahead and get this rolling, see what we can do. So that went well. We have all the seams nicely taken care of with that Mr. Surfacer. I love that stuff. We're going to now turn our attention over to the windows. I've got some Tamiya tape already cut up into small squares. We're going to use those and start covering up the front nose window, the rear radio operator window, and then the window on the other side as well. All those have to be covered up because when I paint the whole thing, I don't want to paint over my windows. So we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of tape down on the windows. We're going to burnish them down with the Q-tip. Then, taking a very sharp X-Acto knife blade, we're just going to slice the excess off, get it all nicely cleaned up. Now we're going to move on to the back tail. We have to install the 2 rudders. Now, the rudders are decently molded. I don't see many issues here with those, but there is a seam that runs down the very center of the actual part. So we want to go ahead and scrape that off, get those all nicely filed out so we can get this fitted right into the back of the vertical stabilizer. Yep, just like that. Not too shabby. So we drop a little bit of glue onto that seam just to get those solid. One right there. There we are. And we'll take a little bit of Tamiya extra thin right at the bottom here as well. Perfect. Position it, make sure it hasn't moved too much, and we should be good to go to the next one. A little bit more glue just to be on the safe side. But I think this is looking really, really sweet. Now with the other vertical stabilizer already on, we're going to go ahead and start mounting up a few of the canopy. Now I'm not going to actually glue this down just yet. I want to just place it in there. It's such a nice tight fit that it shouldn't go anywhere because I need to go ahead and paint these with the interior RAF green for the inside frames. We're going to have to start installing some of the parts and pieces in preparation for the overall priming and painting of this really cool little bomber. We're going to have to build the rear turret, and we're going to have to build the front turret. So we're going to concentrate on the rear turret first and get all these parts and pieces set up. The rear turret is really cool looking too. There's a lot of detail that you can see inside. So we're going to really be on the careful side and try to get everything dialed in and painted so we can have a really cool looking turret. We need to hollow out some of the guns though, because they are a bit prominent on the back there, and I want to give them a little bit of extra life there. So with my X-Acto knife, just the tip of it. We're going to hollow each of the guns out, and there's 4 guns total. So this is very delicate work. If I slip, I'm going to stab myself in the finger with my blade. I don't really want to do that. So really, really slowly, carefully, we're just going to hollow those out. All right, there we are. I went ahead and hollowed them out, glued everything together, and the turret looks great. I love it. We'll have to go ahead and come back a little bit later. Let's move on to the front turret and get that all wrapped up as well. Now the front turret's a little bit different though. It's smaller. It has 1 gun, and it really honestly looks like a Lewis gun to me. I don't know if it's supposed to be, but it looks very similar to a Lewis gun. So we're going to have to assemble all the pieces, and there's not really all that many pieces involved with the turret. There's a turret ring, there's the brace itself, then there's the gun. And the gun has a little bit of a brace on the side of it, and that's pretty much it. There we are. The turret is assembled, just a few parts and pieces, nothing fancy. Drop a little bit of glue here and there just to make sure that this is all nicely glued together. I think we are good. Take my tweezers, make a little bit of an adjustment here and there, just to make sure that this is all nice and straight and solidified. Perfect. All right, a little bit more of an adjustment there. Awesome. Now both the front turret and the rear turret have to be painted, so that's probably going to be our next step. I'm going to paint those using the REF Interior Green. That's that awesome MMP paint. We're really going to get on that. Of course, before I go ahead and get onto that painting, we need to go ahead and mask all the rest of the clear parts. So that means the turrets and this little window section right behind the front turret. Now, of course, I've got my Tamiya tape all set up. So we're going to push through. We're going to mask off this front area right here. Then we're going to mask off the front turret. And we're going to get the rear turret masked off as well. That's going to allow us to come back and we can airbrush the entire lot of it, that awesome REF green. So let's do this and get this done. All right, guys, everything is finally masked. We are ready to go ahead and to cover everything with the REF green. And now I like the interior green color. We're going to go back to the MMP paint. It went on really, really well the first time, so we should be able to do just as fine now. Drop a little bit in the paint cup, and let's go ahead and paint all the clear parts that are masked and some of the actual aircraft itself, such as the flaps, the rear turret area, and then the front glazing for the canopy. So let's get this spraying and get this done. Every time I use that MMP paint, I absolutely love it. It went on perfectly smooth here. We've got the front area done, the front turret done. We've got the rear turret as well done. It's looking beautiful. We've got the flaps already painted. That's also looking great. I'm really happy. We also did a little bit of work here on the seams. We went ahead and sanded those down just quickly, just a couple of swipes with the sandpaper. Nothing fancy. On the glazings, we've got all of the turrets masked and painted. We've got the actual turrets themselves already painted. We do have some detail work to do on those turrets, though. We have to paint the guns. We have to do some weathering. And I have a bit of a surprise for that rear turret as well. I have an idea I want to go ahead and try. But that'll be next episode. So we're going to go ahead and call it quits for today. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you back here next week on episode number 8 of the Armstrong Whitley here on the Bomber Command Buddy Build. Until then, guys, have some fun. Get some bench time in there, and we'll see you back here next week on Ben Builds. Thanks so much, guys. Happy modeling.